Okay, I know I did my last video totally laying down, but this is gonna be another one because I have a story to tell and I am laying down to tell the story. I've had a rough day. Okay, so my grandpa died. I think I talked about that in the last video. And today I had a family gathering, informal, where we were all just gonna get together, like all my aunts and uncles and my estranged mother and my sisters and niece and all that sort of thing. I woke up this morning with a twinge in my neck, which might not seem relevant right now, but keep that in mind. I woke up with a twinge in my neck, so I'm in like physical discomfort the entire day. Okay. And other than that, it was a pretty normal Sunday. So I did grocery shopping. I made a budget. I did some work from home, like I'm typing on a spreadsheet, like I'm doing accountant things. And that was all fine. I started to feel kind of nervous about going to this family gathering just because I'm not the closest with my mom. As in I cut her out of my life a couple years ago, and it's just like super awkward every time I see her. And also, I haven't seen any of my extended family since my grandpa died, and like everybody's really super sad about it. So, and I'm going out there. I have to drive there. Okay. I get in my car, and I'm driving down a highway called Cedar, Highway 77 here in Minnesota, heading down to a town called Lakeville. I stopped at the liquor store. I got myself 2 beers because they have a singles bin where you can just buy a beer at a time. I have 2 beers in my bag, but I'm sober. And I was sober yesterday, so I'm not hungover. I got a good night's sleep. And I'm feeling okay. So I'm driving and I start getting really, really nervous. And my heart is beating fast, and I'm just like got this, PTSD sort of like shivers up my spine. Like I can tell I'm having an anxiety attack basically. And so I'm driving, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And like my hands start tingling, which is like one of the most extreme symptoms I get is when my hands are tingling and going numb a little bit. I'm like, holy fuck, this is actually really serious. I'm like really having an anxiety attack right now. And I keep on passing like off ramps, and I'm saying to myself, like, listen, you're having symptoms. All you have to do is get there. It's gonna be fine. You've had anxiety before. It's fine. Just concentrate on driving. You're going to an important function. You don't want to be late. But eventually I was like, okay, this is really bad. I'm going to pull off at the next on ramp and like go to a McDonald's or something, get something to eat, like just sit in the parking lot, feel some feelings until I calm down, because I am like too worked up to be driving right now. And so, but the next couple off ramps were all to different highways. They weren't off ramps to like streets where you can, get McDonald's and that sort of thing. And so I just like I kept on passing things, and then it's like all of a sudden it just like super duper flipped on me, where it was like I needed to stop immediately. What did it was my hands completely locked up, and I couldn't move my hands, which has never happened to me before. Not when I was in the mental hospital, not in any panic attack since then. My hands went completely numb and I could not move them. My thumb was through here, and I could not move my hands. I'm driving at 60 miles an hour and my hands don't work anymore, and I'm hyperventilating. So I pulled off the side of the highway, just slammed on my brakes, pulled off the side of the highway, put my hazard lights on, stopped on the side of the highway, and I tried to open my, I was like, I'm gonna call 911 on myself, basically, because I thought I was having like a heart attack or a seizure or something. Your hands shouldn't stop working. They should not stop working. I don't know if you guys have ever had your hands not work before, but it's a really terrifying feeling when your hands don't work. And I can't use my phone because my hands don't work. So I'm stopped on, I have my hazards on, I'm on the side of the highway, I have like lobster hands, I have like lobster claw hands, like this, and so I did, the only thing that I could do was I stuck my lobster claw hands out the window and just started waving for anyone to stop and help me. And luckily for me, someone stopped. It took a minute, but someone did stop. It was a man in like an SUV, and he came up to my car, and I just told him to call 911. Like, I didn't explain what was going on, but apparently my face said it all, because he did not ask any further questions. He just got on the phone with the cops, and he like he wasn't even really talking to me, but like he did, once he had, he's on the phone with the police, and like, by the way, this is not accurate for phone anymore, this is phone now. He's on the phone with the police, and I can see him mimicking what I was doing with my hands, and I'm just like sitting there thinking, maybe I'm dying, like your hands shouldn't completely go numb. As you know, I've been to the doctor a bunch of times recently, and like all my tests have come back negative, but I've had concerns, who knows. I wasn't not exactly in my right mind at the time. And so, he's on the phone, and then he comes up to the car and he's like, okay, the cops are on their way. Do you want, and I was just thanking him. I was like, thank you so much, thank you. But still obviously like not doing the best. And he's like, do you want water? This angel, this blessed angel of a man went to his car. I can see him rifling through his shit. Like, he thought he had water bottles, but he didn't. And so what he brought me back was like a big gulp cup with some water. I don't know where he got this water. He just got some water in the big gulp cup, and he was like, here. And I was like, thank you so much. And then so the cops showed up. First the cops showed up, and the officer came up to my car window and was like, hello, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's okay, what's the matter? And I said, listen, I'm having the world's worst panic attack right now. I was driving down the road and my hands stopped working, and I didn't feel safe to drive, so I pulled off the side of the road. And he's like, so what do you think caused that? And he was like, the cop was really, really nice. And we could have a discussion about my interactions with police as a traditionally feminine white woman some other time. But just right now, let's say the cop was really nice to me, and he was like, it's okay, you're gonna be fine. We have an ambulance coming. And he was like, what do you think caused this? And I was like, I have PTSD. I'm going to a family occasion for a very sad reason. My grandpa died, and yeah. And then the ambulance showed up. Oh, well, he was like, hey, let me see your driver's license. My hands had started working a little bit more, so I was able to I'm like shaking, but I'm like opening my wallet and like giving him my license. And it's like, I look at my bag and I'm like, by the way, there are 2 beers in my bag. And he was like, there's beers in your bag, you've been drinking? And I was like, no, I have not, I am totally sober. And I was like, the receipt for the beers is in my wallet. And he was like, okay, it's fine, you are allowed to have closed containers in your car, that is fine. And then the ambulance showed up, and it was a man and a woman in the ambulance, and they were like, okay, is your car off? I was like, yes, it is. The car keys are on the seat. And they were like, come with us. And so we walked up to the ambulance, and like we got inside, and they were like, how about you lay down on the gurney? And I was like, oh, what are we doing? And they were like, or you can just sit here. You can just sit here. That's fine. And so I was like, I'll sit. And they like, you know, they're taking my, I'm in an ambulance on the side of the highway. They're taking my blood pressure, and they got the thing on my finger. They're like asking me about my medical history. I'm like, yes, I have PTSD. And they're like, do you have panic attacks often? And I was like, yes. And they're like, when was the last time you had a panic attack? And I was like, I don't know, like a month ago. Because like I have low level anxiety issues all the time, but a full-fledged like freak out, like what's the line? I've talked about this in other videos. What is the line between a flashback and a panic attack? It's really hard to say. So, but the last flashback I had was like a month ago. So I was like, you know, this is something that happens to me. Anyway, and they were like, do you want us, they were like, what hospital do you usually go to? And I was like, are we going to the hospital? I'm thinking like they are going to impound my car. I am going to be on a gurney. I am going to have to go to the hospital. And all the while, by the way, this family gathering is just going on. So I'm like, everyone is going to know that I freaked out. Like my whole family obviously knows that I'm mentally ill. But I'm really maintaining the impression that I have my shit together right now. So this is like really an image shattering thing for me, along with just being like totally scary, on top of just being just a really shitty week with like my grandpa dying and all, you know, just all the other things going on in my life. So so I was like, are we going to the hospital? And they're like, do you want us to take you to the hospital? I said, no, I don't, but I don't know what to do. And so they were like, listen, we can either sit here with you and you can calm down and we can evaluate you, or we can take you to the hospital and they can give you Ativan, basically, which, if anyone doesn't know what an Ativan is, it's a mild sedative, which I've had many times in my life, but it's not one that I'm prescribed now, just because, like, when I take them, it makes me kind of depressed, but, like, an Ativan is not going to fix what is wrong with me. So we just sat there. My heart rate dropped like 40 beats per minute in the time where I was like sitting in the ambulance, and my blood pressure was normal. And so they were like, okay, you're all shaken up, why don't you call somebody to come and pick you and your car up? And I was like, okay, I need to call 2 people. So I'm like trying to call my sister who's at this family gathering. Like I called my cousin, no one is picking up. And so I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. And then like the cop is like sitting out in the cruiser like by my car. And so he comes up and he's like, listen, there on the next off-ramp there is a church parking lot. And how about we just try and let you drive your car to the next off-ramp, and you can, let's see what happens there, and you can call people from there, because then we can let the ambulance go and you can, you know, your car will be off the highway. So I was like, okay, let's do that, yes. So I got back in my car, the cop shadowed me all the way to and I could tell, by the way, when he was saying this to me, he was standing extra close. So he was definitely trying to smell my breath for alcohol, and I was just like, yes, I'm not drunk. I am totally sober right now. I'm just crazy. So he shadowed me all the way to the church parking lot. And when we got there, he was like, okay, well, you're not in trouble. You did the right thing by pulling over. And if you need any more help, just give us a call. And then he just left me there. So now no one has answered their phone. No one has called me back. So I'm like, what do I do now? So I just like sat in my car and calmed down. And I was like, okay, what do I need right now? So I drove the safest route that I knew, like no highway, to a McDonald's. And I ordered a Big Mac and 2 cheeseburgers and some french fries, and I just like Trisha Paytas style just like sat in the parking lot and ate my McDonald's food. And then I just like kept on calming down. Finally one of my sister called me and was like, "Hey, I missed a call. Are you lost? Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been delayed. I'll be there as soon as I can." And then I just drove over to my family function and just walked in like nothing had happened. And I told stories, and I had some laughs, and I tried a VR for the first time, and I didn't tell anyone what had happened until afterwards, when I had a little bit of privacy and could talk to my sisters, and I told both of them. But like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I felt normal when I left my apartment. I have never, like a couple months ago, when I was having some problems at work, like I had to walk out of a meeting because I had, again, anxiety attack, flashback, where's the line? I don't know, where I had like a flashback that was so bad that I had to stand up in the middle of a meeting, totally not hiding anything, just like a crazy person, and just walk out. And I would say that this was comparable to that, but this was worse. It's like my hands stopped working while I was driving on the highway. I felt normal when I left my house. I felt a little bit anxious, but I did not feel like I was gonna wind up in an ambulance. So this is really concerning. This is actually a pretty big deal that this happened, and I'm not happy about it, basically. Basically, I'm just like not having a good time today. And like, thank God I was gonna say this in my last video, but I forgot, but I signed up for therapy again, and I have my first session tomorrow, as it turns out. So I think this is probably something I'm gonna bring up. And basically, like right now, I'm feeling very bitter that with all of the work that I've done and all of the progress that I've made in my life, that I was approximately like 30 seconds from being in the mental hospital again today. Like 6 hours ago, I could have been in the mental hospital, which I haven't been to since 2007. Like, that close. And thank God for all of the kind people who helped me tonight. But like, yeah, I'm really not doing well. And I guess stay tuned for some updates. Subscribe to my channel. Like and subscribe, guys, for more adventures of being a mentally ill adult, I guess. So that's my story. So thanks for watching. Okay. Bye.